Hey, good.
Good. What about you?
You look good. I love the new background. I love how you switch it up on us. You know,
Thank
I'm still so 2020 right now.
Yeah,
I'm
I get
also
bored.
I'm also like closer to the freezing temperatures, so I'm colder up here than I normally would be. I have a hoodie on.
You look like someone who's freezing. Looks
I'm a
like
little cold.
your beard is frozen.
It is. Look at all this. The icicles coming off of this thing is it's insane.
I see that. It's getting very long, Rob.
I know it's getting a little outrageous. I need to do something with it soon, but
Yeah.
not just yet. Now it's keeping, the bottom half of my face warm. I kind of need it in this crazy weather right now. So look,
Yeah.
how are you doing? Is everything going okay?
Good. Yeah. So internet.
Anything new coming up?
Lost-
Anything happening soon?
Yeah. Every day.
Every single day. Something.
Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow, the speech for SME. What is it? Sales and marketing executives. So I'm looking
Yes.
forward to that. But all I care about right now is to keep my electricity and my internet. As long as I keep those two, I'm good because they keep shifting.
All right, they're shifting, but we're going to work with what we have, and we have a great guest coming on. He's been blowing it up lately. He's got some news to share with us. So I think we're ready for Kasra. You ready for Kasra?
I am.
Okay, let's bring him on in. Let me change the background a little bit. Kasra, come on in, my man.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm warm. I love the these this isn't gray. This is just icicles on my beard. I love that.
All it is.
Yeah, hood. You say you're wearing a hoodie because it's cold outside. This is my gear. I feel like I wear a hoodie every
Let's see
single
the
day.
threads because I'm sporting Kirkland's brand. You got something nice and
This
shiny,
is Mintor. Yeah, this
Oh, wow.
so actually Scott got me this. My co-founder. He said, "I think we need to get a little more official. Let's get hoodies." So I'm like, okay.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. You got to represent the brand. You got to swag it out. You're looking great. You look, again, like I said, toasty. Maybe a little dark right now, but I can tell you snuggled up and smiling, and that's all that matters.
You look like someone who lost electricity.
I actually do. So
I'm not
oddly,
going to joke about that.
It is maybe it's something with this room. We moved into a new apartment in the last few months. The ceilings are really high and kind of like not even like too high. Like kind of like, okay, I get it, high ceiling, but none of the lighting's good in the apartment. It's my one downfall. I left my reviews, okay, but yeah, I know. I'm trying to get my lights right. It's not working. It's a little dark over here.
Yeah.
All of the lights. I mean, look, there's a lot of people. I read this morning, 3 million people without power between Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. That is insane.
Wow.
It's interesting that we're like how just a little cold. I mean, and I say a little cold, but like the fact that it shut our state down for 2 days. Like we were supposed to be shut down these 2 days, but not for cold weather, for Mardi Gras. It was supposed to be a different reason. But it's amazing that they were talking about Texas and what's happening there, how their infrastructure wasn't ready for this, and their worst case scenario, missed what happened by a mile. Like they just weren't ready. And I don't know. It's odd to me. That low cold weather would do all this, but again, that's not my forte. So I'll leave it up to them.
For this, man. We got hurricanes down. It took a few years.
Yeah.
This cold thing is a little different.
And all in 1 year. So, we get 4 major hurricanes, three or four, right? And then we also get I'm not sure if this is the coldest I ever remember it, in the last decade for sure. I'm not sure when it was under 20 degrees before this, but it should be interesting.
I think Outcast said it would be colder than a polar bear's toenails. But you're kind of hot right now. Let's talk about what's going on with you, man. You got a lot of stuff going on. We got Mintor. We got 40 under 40 from the Baton Rouge Business Report. Your startup grinds kicking off again. Like you got a lot to share, man. Let's get on with it.
Yeah, so a lot's happening. Sometimes it feels like I'm just trying to get through the days. But so Mintor, our startup, myself and Scott Knight founded what's getting close to 5 years ago. But with many startups, like we didn't start building, we didn't start making something of it until just under 2 years ago. It's in the App Store for the first time about 2 weeks ago. And it's an invite-only networking app for entrepreneurs to meet someone new every week. Pure and simple, one goal. There it is. Yeah, there it is. And so that launched a couple weeks ago. Startup grind, as you mentioned. We kind of went into a little hibernation. I love in-person events. So if anyone's familiar with Startup grind, we put on monthly fireside chats with entrepreneurs to come in and share their story, share their journey. Both of these two amazing hosts, Rob and Dima, you guys have both been on, but unfortunately you guys have been on the virtual experience, which is still amazing, but nowhere near what we love to do in person. But we had Adam Knapp last month, and we're really excited to bring on Chris Moe on the 16th in March at Uncle Earl's. So excited to get that kicking and get it underway. As far as the 40 under 40, that was it was exciting. It was exciting to see. Getting recognized for it's great. Me and my fiance went to Universal the day after, and we were riding home, and I'm like, I feel like I should be more. I feel like I should be more excited or more happy, and I'm not sure why. I think burnout's kind of real. You get to a point you're like, hey, I get this award, but like I'm at my edge, and trying to manage everything. But it was a nice recognition, and I appreciated it.
That is so great.
Well deserved.
Yeah. How was the live event after having all of these other ones virtual?
It was great. I mean, it was just to breathe the air, and then we went outside, so we had a really nice patio experience, and there's a one-on-one is my type of networking virtually. Once you start growing that, and you two are both, on ours, you guys are doing it so much better than I did. Like I just could not harness the virtual experience. So for me, what's really great about the in-person is I like to point at people. I like to call people out, make sure that everybody's staying engaged. I love, I guess I kind of love the theatrics of it, so we bring a production crew out there. We go a little over the top, but like I just like that. I think if you're gonna put on an event, like let it be something that's memorable. Let it be something that people can say, "Hey, I was there." And we have a limited capacity, so what's nice is when you buy your ticket, hey, look, you're in now, and there's kind of this exclusivity of like showing up and making sure you're a part of that experience. Because we never repost the full interview again, and that's the point. Like it's not for our content purpose. It's for in the moment experiencing it, listening, and seeing if you can hopefully walk away with a new friend or two.
Yeah,
I did. I know I did when I spoke. Did you, Dima?
Can you say that again?
Oh, I'm sorry. I know. Well, Kasra was saying how maybe you come away with a friend or two after that experience. And so did you, after speaking, even as a speaker, did you come away with any folks that maybe reached out or contacted you?
Yeah, I had people contact me on LinkedIn, but I don't think I made my best friend out of that event. So with more contacts on LinkedIn, which is always nice as well. Yeah.
Sure, but both of you, we'll have to do the in-person soon. We'll have to come back around to that.
We should do a chit chat with Dima and Rob.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. I'll set it up, and you guys. I'll set up the production. I'll set up the place, the venue, do the whole 9 yards. Let's do it. Let's okay. So this is what I actually love. Like, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Patrick Grimion, the Patty G Show.
Yes.
Me and him. Yeah, we were chit-chatting about this. How like how you find someone in town and it may start like professional, but like that's one of my great friends now. And now we collaborate without question. Like, I was like at the last event, I'm like, hey, why don't you MC? He goes, yes. Yeah. So he comes, MCs. We talk about it. We're like, okay, we're going to do this different next time. And I think that kind of collaboration here in Baton Rouge is so possible. And I mean, I love it. I would love to do this. Let's put it in the books.
It's so possible. Like,
yeah.
Can you talk about that? Because I like the way you kind of described that.
I mean, I think everyone in this town is like 2-3 connections away. That's not to say that everyone is accessible or that every connection can be genuine. I'm not saying that. I think there's a lot of barriers up that we can break down. But if you want to talk to someone in this city, I think it's so much easier to break through. It's so much easier to get that connection. Look, we started Startup Grind. When the Startup Grind kind of that opportunity came around, it was because I was driving to New Orleans once a week for networking events. Again, this is on the cusp of starting to build Mintor. I need to not only be the CEO of this company that leads networking for entrepreneurs, but like I need to go and experience in it constantly. I need to go see what the problems are. I need to go see what's great, what's bad. I just found I was looking around. I'm like, there's nothing here in town. There's nothing where you can go to a group that's well known here in town on a weekly basis. And it's that kind of opportunity. We started it. There hasn't been an event yet where we haven't sold out, and that is, I hope more people compete with that. I hope more people put on some kind of weekly event, some kind of, monthly event, whatever that may be, to try to be put together. So the opportunity is there. I don't know. I mean, do you guys see that? You guys see how like there's these gaps and then there's like 2 players. There's 2, a handful of people doing something that's not nearly enough in capacity to actually meet the needs of all the people here in town.
Yeah. Well, especially in live events as well. Like you see so much more needs. So hopefully soon we'll be able to contribute more to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
go ahead.
I'm going to ask you a question I'm asked all the time, and it is like, what makes you stay in Baton Rouge? Even the mayor asked me. I'm like, you should not ask me this question. So
that's good.
It's funny getting frozen. Like right now, I'm looking at myself, and it looks so funny. So a screenshot. Don't take a screenshot. So
you ready for this?
Take issues.
I'm
happy. Love it.
I'm still frozen. Okay.
Oh, God.
So at least you can hear me, obviously.
Yeah, you sound great.
What's making you stay?
That's a good question. I actually asked that of all of my guests as well. Okay, for me personally, it starts with my fiance. It's honestly starts there. It's not a business thing. I'm not lured here for business or maybe to the disappointment. Like I'm not I don't feel incentivized to stay here for the business purposes. I'll say that. But I do have a fiance that we plan to get married in New Orleans next year. I have family and friends, and I view this as an opportunity to continue to help the community that helped me. I'll say that yes, there's you can make it happen in other places, but there's almost like this weird challenge if you can make it happen here. Like, can you make it happen here out of Baton Rouge? And being a startup that is promoting remote networking from anywhere you are, being a remote team, we made our first hire out of Dallas. I've never met the guy in person. He's a great developer. Never met him. We don't plan on meeting people or hiring people in house. So we plan on being remote forever, and that's part of it. Yeah, it's tough,
By design, Kasra. You're doing that by design, but also willing to work with the challenge of with what you got and making it happen here with what you have.
And
balance.
Look, yeah, I mean, look, and maybe that's also because like I mean, after you have a little bit of roots here, my family started businesses here and they didn't even speak English, so like, I think you can start a business anywhere.
Yeah.
But but for now, my commitment to Baton Rouge is for my family and friends. At the very least, for the next, I'll say through 2022. Right now, I'll say that, and I'm not sure beyond that.
Well, and so I don't know if when you said mentor earlier, I think one thing we haven't talked about, but that also sounds a lot like it, is mentor, and that's part of it, right? So that you also give back to this community that you're in. So can you talk about why you do things like, Young Entrepreneurs Academy and stuff like that, and why networking is sort of important to you?
Yeah.
So build an app, put it in the app store, and build a business on it to be successful.
Yeah. So this really started when I left college, and so I went to college at Southeastern down the road, Hammond, Louisiana, and my original major was biology, because I'm from Iran originally. Moved here to the States when I was young. There's only two things your Persian parents want you to be, and that's a doctor or engineer. My sister followed through with it, got her degree in biology. I lasted one semester, and one semester, and I'm like, this is not for me. Like, there's no way, like, I can't do this. I moved over to a degree called Occupational Safety and Health, which is very promising in terms of here in the South, especially, you always have a job. There was something that one of my professors said that was really interesting to me. He goes, the opposite of networking is not working. That could be more true in safety, and you have to get these introductions to get these positions. The first plant I stepped my foot on, plant job that I went on site for, I got that job from my girlfriend at the time's dad's friend, and I wasn't excited about getting that job because of that. I'll be honest, like, I wasn't thinking, like, there was almost like a weird feeling. I'm like, I'd rather just like apply and get in, but that is just not the way it works. 85% of roles are filled through networking. Like, people apply all day, but like the ones that apply and like you get your job through an application, like, you're the lucky one. Most people those jobs being filled by someone there. I saw 3 safety guys get hired without a job posting ever being put up, while I was there. Okay. So that's kind of my experience, just getting into safety, getting into my first career. When I stepped out of college, so I went into college, joined a fraternity, became president of a fraternity. I found myself to be very personable, social. I would call myself borderline, extroverted. Except if you find me at home, I don't want to talk to people. But it was when I really just found that how unconnected my family was. Like, so I got that first job through someone, but I went out, and as I started trying to get into business, started trying to get connections and meet people, like, it was amazing to me how much, like, how unnetworked my family was. As I tried to step into various organizations here in town and get connected, I felt that there was a lot of barriers in my way. Beyond those that maybe from gatekeepers to simply or by design to not have people of a certain pedigree join. I found that process to be really frustrating. I found that you go meet people, you have all these people who want to go meet, and all for different reasons, but we never tell our reason. We never put it out there like, hey, I'm gonna sell you shit. Like, okay, tell me that. Don't take me out to coffee and 30 minutes in the coffee, like, tell me you're about to sell me something. Like, for the love of God, salesmen are amazing. Salespeople are amazing at what they do. We need them for people to find the right products, but we are being sold so much. And there's just guys like, or this curtain in front of how we network always. And I found that to be really frustrating. Anyway, that kind of led me to, trying to find a better way to do it. And Mintor is designed to be a better way to connect. And we're going to continue on that mission. So. And
then, so, you are an entrepreneur, that your business is growing, you've made hires, but you've also, taken that experience and passed it down. Last year with Young Entrepreneurs Academy, you had sort of an interesting experience, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Oh man. Thomas O'Connor, man, what an experience. He face tutor it was. He surprised me. Like, that experience of just being able to share with him. That's where I met you, Rob.
I met you after class walking down the hall.
Yeah. And I was like, what's up, man? How are you? Like, and you were so open. I appreciate that. I think when you get to a certain point, you find that you can do more than just hustle, like, for yourself. For me, a lot of people like view mentoring as, hey, this, they have to have, exited a company, then to be all the way over there to be able to mentor someone else. Where I mean, there's so many levels to this. Look, I mean, I don't need the person who's, built, a unicorn company or, raised millions of dollars. I don't need that person. I need the person who has launched their product, gone into the market, and I would love to just like chat with them and hear about their experiences launching their product. That's it. I want, what's on the ground. And the same thing goes with Thomas for me and YEA, is that they don't need the person to tell them how to build company culture. They need someone who, and for me, that's where I found that I could be so useful. Like, I was in the middle of it, and he's given this huge business plan. You remember those business plans? I tell him about it all the time. I'm like, and this is a program. It's not, but I'm like, most of this is useless. What he needs is to put his business together. He needs like a fourth of these documents, and he needs to find a way to get it out to the market. And that's it. Like, he doesn't need to know how he's going to run his operations for 100 people. Just doesn't. And those were the times that we wasted a lot. So it was just a good experience. I mean, it was just so nice to be able to be like, hey, watch that. You're going to fall in there, walk around that one, please. Please. I've been that one. Go around.
Okay. So then you're talking about the sharing, you're talking about the obvious knowledge transfer there. In doing startup grind, you also put yourself in front of some folks. And you're getting to network in a different way. You're getting to, you know what I mean? And you're getting to know people on a different level, get to ask them these questions. And what wisdom can you share from some of the folks that you've talked to, some of the lessons that you've learned just from startup grind and you sort of facilitating some of these events?
Yeah. Progress takes time. I think that's it takes time. It takes a lot of persistence. It's something that I knew, seen from my own family. But I'm talking to all these people who have been grinding at their business for years, and they've adapted like hell. Because if they didn't adapt, they wouldn't be on the show, because they wouldn't still be doing what they're doing. I found that their ability to continue to innovate and talk about that innovation. I mean, and yourself included. I remember we had a conversation, trying to find ways to continue. And IT Inspired has been around how long, Rob?
Man, we're about to make 8 in
8. Yeah, dude. That is something. So persistence, I think, is something that I take away a lot, and it's helpful, especially as a young entrepreneur. Look, it's easy to go look on Twitter and see all these people, running startups, raising millions, doing their thing, and they make it, in 140, 280 characters, they make it look super. It's just not, and it's going to take time. The other thing is just relationships. The value of the relationships they've built. Before it was always me trying to get, in the room, like just to be around, the event or the people. And now I've found a way to get to the point where I can just text these people. I can just, the same people that I was hoping to shake hands with.
What was it? Was it confidence? Was it that networking backbone? What was it? Because at some point it seems like it's like this cornucopia of all of that comes together. And you either don't care or you got enough momentum built that you're gonna make it happen. What is it? What is it for you, Kasra?
Oh man.
Let it out, man.
I'm a little like I don't know.
Dima and Rob.
For me, man. For me, sometimes it. Okay, so I remember. Okay, I'll put it this way. When we did our first Startup Grind event, I just came back from India. So me and my fiance had just come back from India. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to put this on. I had made like less than a handful of friends. One of those was Matthew Armstrong of Block Now Check. At the time, Block Now Check. And I remember I called him. I said, "Hey man, I need you to be our first speaker." You know, he's like, I'm there. You know, he doesn't know what it is. I'm just like, I need you to do it. First off, you put aside the fear of asking. Like you just put it aside. Like you don't like you. And okay, so a side note on asking, like the worst answer you can always get is no. Okay, so like ask away. I was just in Colorado. I'm up at Avis, and they're talking about trying to get me from this Camry over to a Jeep. Hell yeah, of course I want the Jeep. They're like, oh, it's gonna be an extra $22 a day. I'm like, can you do an extra 15 a day? She's like, what? I'm like, can you do an extra 15 a day instead of 25? And she's like, I'm like, or like 17, I mean, I just don't know if I have that extra. Like, can you ask? And she's like, I guess I got it for 15. Like
what?
You just ask, okay? You put your story forward, and I lead with story now. So like, I'm up there at the counter. I'm like, man, my friends are starting to doubt me. I booked this, car at the last airport in Dallas, and like, just sharing what you know. I didn't do that to get a discount, but when the time came for me to ask, like, this lady knew my situation, knew exactly where I was, and it doesn't hurt to ask. So the turning point for me was to do what I've learned is one of the best things is don't be afraid to ask. It builds confidence because you realize you can start getting yeses along the way. You realize that things can start happening if you just ask for it, and that's all I can. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else comes from that, man. I mean, it's just, you have to be persistent beyond that. You ask for the things that you want, and
more persistent. Does your persistence grow, or is it just that you've maintained this level where you're just going to ask? Like, do you get more persistent?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I've become more effective over time.
Okay.
And I realized that I have to keep the car rolling. Like, so I have to keep pushing this thing forward. Knowing that some days you're gonna have like slower days, and sometimes it's not gonna feel like it's gonna work out. I think my biggest challenge over the last year, because I quit my job 2.5 years ago, probably a year too early. For sure. Like, thinking back on it, yeah, a year too early, and Scott and I, my CTO and co-founder, Scott actually just quit his job and came full-time to Mintor on the 1st of February. So
nice.
Yeah, big moves. Yeah, we're actually making so we can make things happen.
Awesome.
So for me, I would just say to anyone, you have to get better at decision making. Like that was one big thing for me. Look, we're all going to execute. There's all these tactics. Okay. There's all these, growth hacks, and look, setting up an event is not hard. Like, look up event checklist online and it'll tell you exactly what to do. Step 1 to the end. But over time, I think the hardest part for me has been, what is my process to making a decision? Can I stand by the decision, and then determine which decisions are those that I have to stand by for the next 6 months to a year, because that is in fact what you need to. Like when you guys started Chit Chat, I mean, there comes a point, are you doing Chit Chat just for the lockdown, or are you doing it for the next 2 years? And because look, I said I'll be here through 2022, right? I'm gonna be here through 2022 because I hope by the end of that year, we'll put on a 400+ person summit for Baton Rouge through Startup Grind. That's the goal. Nice. Like, and if I stopped, even though I had awful virtual events, I mean, there's no doubt, like I had awful virtual events. I can't stop doing it. I can't miss. I have to keep doing it. Be okay that shit's not going to work out the way I want to, and just keep going forward.
Dude, it's obviously working out good, man. I mean, I think you sold out every single one. You had Adam Knapp on recently. You've had a slew of amazing rock stars from the area. And then what's this little part we haven't talked about you writing this book? Come on.
Okay, so talking about persistence for all the audience. The book is something that I'm on my third round of edits on.
Nice.
It was supposed to publish in December, did not. I'm a little bit of a holding pattern with it and it's a personal thing. I mean, it's a personal thing. It's like me, you know, finding that I am dealing with so much right now that a book it has its own launch, has its own set of requirements.
Yes.
But I can tell you, I mean, like the why behind it was that okay, so I remember, I was in New York City for an event called Next Gen Summit, summer of 2018 for the first time. I met this guy there. He was 18 years old, worked at Facebook, had launched 3 companies. Dude was already a millionaire. Okay, he was 18 years old, and I'm looking at him like, oh my god, like I was like, I don't think I'm doing enough. But, you know, so I'm going in with this mindset originally. I quit my job 3 months later. And the question starts coming up as to, you know, what is my credibility in this space? That kind of was the fuel to starting to do events, because before Startup Grind, it was meetups. It was small meetups at Tin Roof, at Bulldog, where 2 people showed up, and I would just like drink beer with that one person, 2 people, you know, and it was just doing something. But then so for me, the book, so the title of the book is Askholes, How to Give First and Network Later. And it's really just a story about how, you know, you don't need to be afraid to ask, but you also need to be able to give. And I go through the stories of you know, some of those prominent entrepreneurs and how they've built relationships through giving, how they've built their businesses through giving, how they haven't been afraid to ask, and how sometimes their asks are arrogant. I mean, you know, they go above and beyond. Like we see, like I'll give you an example. Like some of these big businesses all get all these tax breaks, right? Yeah, because they're assholes. They go out there and they want it all. Like they want the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
And if they get a little less, they're okay with it. But I've just found that not being afraid to ask is like a key. It's like a secret key to getting the things that you want. Probably half the software subscriptions that we have, I've negotiated down because I've just emailed the CEO and I'm like, hey, look, like I'm a young startup, you know, would you mind doing it at like 30% off? And they're like, hell yeah. Like,
you're doing that. Who else is going to do that and take that next step? And
yeah, I'm like they have thousands of subscribers. I'm like one person who like, they're probably thinking, oh my God, this guy, and they're probably like, has anyone asked us for a discount before? Like randomly? Like, probably not, you know? And I'm like the lowest tier, but I'm like, no, I need more off. No, but look, the book, it's exciting for me to do. I'm not a writer by any means. You know, and yeah, it's exciting to be able to put my thoughts down, share my story, and expand on some of the things that I've learned, and hopefully share that with people soon.
Love it, man. It's a great note right there. I mean, I feel like in a way, giving back has and asking, yes, but also being on the giving side for the most part has enabled and unlocked like this next level, you know, within and also for others, for my ability and resources to do for others, but also in just like, hey, maybe it's for sales for my company. Maybe it's a confidence booster because I did it and executed or failed and learned. But there's just something about an ask. And then I guess with an ask, it's kind of up in the air, right? There's like this potential to give and receive, give or receive.
Sure.
and a little bit of excitement's in the air because you don't know what can kind of come out of it. And look at you. You kind of left that at the counter at Avis. And hey, maybe once in a while you get a discount from $22 to $15. Come on, man. That's amazing.
And then so I'll say this, I think some of us, like, what I found that was really exciting for me is like realizing the value I have to share. So whether that be, my document of resources on how to start and launch a startup, whether that be Startup Grind and speaking opportunities there, tickets to come to the event, just, I have, 3 hours of, just open meetings on my calendar every week in case, it's kind of my freestyle kind of time of the day where I'm working, but I'm open to take meetings during those times. Having those lined up, knowing exactly what are the things that you can give, or being willing to listen to other people so that when something does come across your plate, oh, I should go share it with that person. Every investor that's told me no, I've also invited on Startup Grind. I'm like, oh, hey, that's great, but do you want to come be a speaker for my next event? Like, look, I've had speakers that, not want to come speak at Startup Grind. And I'm like, hey, here's 3 tickets for you and whoever wants to come. Sometimes I don't get a reply at all. Like, that's fine. Like, but don't just leave it at that. Be ready to give back to those people. And the hardest part, and the most enlightening part is figuring out what that is. Figuring out what are the things that you have that are valuable, that you can share.
There's some wisdom there. You don't always know what you have as valuable either. Yeah. Usually until you're given that chance to share, and surprising yourself at times. So
yeah. Well, let me say this. So this is something I was taking away the other day. Us speaking English, that's a value. Like, your English is a value you have, because I've seen my family, like I've taken my dad to multiple like barbecues at my friends' houses. He doesn't talk to anyone, he never, because he couldn't engage. Like, he came to one of our fraternity had a cookout. My family owns a restaurant. And so he's like, hey, I'll come cook, his business, his network cannot expand because of English.
Huh.
So at the most basic level, like, we have so much that's going for us that we take for granted. Internet and lights. Where's Dima? Internet. Yeah. Like having these tools is a value to get us in front of, get us to the resources that we need. And a lot of people overlook those and highlight here all the things that may block me or when, and I'm just saying that when people are thinking, I don't have anything that's valuable. It's like, okay, do you just think in English? Okay, that's valuable. Hey, are you on internet? Are you watching Chit Chat and you have internet access? That's valuable. Because I have people that I've worked with over the years at the restaurant who, like, I give them a schedule, and I hope that if I need to call them, their phone doesn't cut out between now and the next time they get paid. It's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? Anyway.
No, that's the truth. I've got someone close to me, a family member that it's hard to reach them. They move, or the phone number changes. And so you hope that number's still good the next time. They're in the same place, or that there's some sort of stability there. But you're right, though. We're taking a lot of this for granted. I mean, I'm over here pulling a little heater over here. I helped a friend that I met, 2 years ago, who has her 2 girls here in town going to LSU. She lives in Lafayette.
Yeah.
Their power was out. They didn't have food. I loaned them my heater, my hunting heater, my propane little heat. So when you really break it on down, I guess it's sort of the angle you're coming from, and what your circumstances are, and then how grateful you are for what we have right now. And if you're willing to share, look at what it gives in return. So that goes from From the ask. Look, my friend, if she didn't ask, that wouldn't have happened. They would have been out there trying to find it. And look what happened. He asked 3 people, you get 1 yes. They got a yes. Now they have food. Now they have to eat to get them by until the lights turn on. Yeah. It's so different and that's to survive, right? So if this is your business and this is how you're going to keep the lights on, keep the heater running, and for you to survive, you're going to ask. When it comes down to it, I hope you're ready and hungry enough. That's one of our core values at IT Inspired. You got to be hungry. Yeah. You got to be hungry. If you're hungry, you're willing to work. You are willing to do. And you'll figure out how to execute from there.
That's right. That's right. And so I think socials is another thing too. I think so. I mean, how we utilize social can be absolutely huge. Yeah. Ryan Hoover, Ryan Hoover is the CEO and founder of Product Hunt. I don't know if you're familiar with him. That's where a lot of like new products go and launch. It's become its own ecosystem with some extremely strong network effects, which I'm so envious of. Just when I look at them and what they do, it's amazing what they built over there. But Ryan, he mentioned, so if you look at his Twitter or any of his social profiles, there's a picture of him that's I want to say almost 10 years old. Okay, he made a case that you should never change your profile picture, like across every single platform you have. It should always be the same, because it is something, when you change your profile picture, it creates a friction to people recognizing you and knowing who you are. People are, and we have an eye too. Like, so we'll see something, right? We may see, someone's face on social or maybe here on Chit Chat. You see, my profile picture. You will find that exact one across everything that I'm engaging with, nice. Everything I'm used to engage with. Yes, how you use your social can be huge,
I totally agree. I mean, look, it wouldn't be a thing. I got it in this little banner down here, shoot, it was important enough for me and Dima to have it. And I go and I add it here with this little guy right there. Right. So, I mean, it's important enough to do something about promoting yourself, maybe how to connect. Because look, here you are connecting with CEOs asking for a discount. Someone come along and say, hey man, can you introduce me to someone else? And it all starts from just this one little web or connection. And I think that's what you've tapped into, and you've got this passion and now a product for it, dude. I think it's amazing. And I was filling out my profile yesterday. I just got to tell you, man, I'm excited. I think it's incredible to see this coming, man. I didn't know you 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Here you are, and boom, you got an app in the App Store. You've met some amazing people. You're making waves, and just got to tell you, man, proud of what you've been doing, promoting on social or not. You've been doing an amazing job.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That means a lot. It was like each little milestone, you have to kind of remember it. I'll say this. I think you may realize this too. Just all the milestones that you've hit over the years. It can be hard to enjoy what just happened. I was on a call with one of my advisors, Adrienne France. She's been with us since the beginning, one of the most amazing people I know. And she goes, we're on this call, and I'm like, hey, can you go up the sign up process? We're having the call so she can go through the sign up, give some feedback. I go, hey, I know that button's not work. We're working on that one. Like I know this part of the onboarding isn't really smooth. We'll have this update to next week. And she goes, Kasra, shut up. I'm like, okay. She's like, how long do we know each other? I'm like, oh man, almost 2 years. She's like, you've been quietly building for 2 years and your app is in the App Store. I'm like, yeah. She's like, enjoy it for a second. She's like, you don't have to explain to me that there's bugs. I know that. She goes, it's the first week, 2 weeks, month. She's like, there's going to be bugs. And, I sat back. I'm like, I remember thinking when we launched, I might cry. Like I might have like a moment. I'm going to have my, I'm going to go pour some Crown. Like I'm going to enjoy myself. And I realized how quickly I became engulfed in that work that I immediately started thinking the next thing. Like I'm like, okay, Scott, like, hey, what's going on this sprint? Hey, can we push these updates for next week? Because I don't want, when we send the next batch of invites, I don't want them. I mean, look, the next thing comes so quickly. It's very hard to
First of all, entrepreneur, man,
do you feel that? Do you ever feel like you're just it's the next thing is coming too quickly? Like you didn't even get to like really see, what you
I feel on both sides. Sometimes I'm feeling like we're moving at a snail's pace. We should come on. We already, we should be 7 steps ahead right now, and then all the way to where it's like, oh, this is not just too slow. We're going too fast. I don't know if we're ready for this. What do we need to do next? And just constantly searching for that next solution or what could be next. You're problem solving. I mean, and look, if you got any kind of ADHD, if you got any kind of, and also just a creative mind, I feel like you're gonna search. There's always some, a perfectionist and an entrepreneur. I feel like it's an amazing curse.
Yeah.
And
you feel that way? You feel you're kind of a perfectionist as well? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm a perfectionist that's training to be classically patient and how about finessed or mature. Look, let's just say
mature.
That levels of maturity in entrepreneurial and in your entrepreneurial journey too. Just getting to where you are, or even having the idea, you've crossed 4 different milestones alone. You hit the growth stage, you're at the second stage growth level, and it's like, the problems start to compound. The growth comes just as fast as you need to scale back. So it's, I don't know, it's an amazing ride, Kasra. I'm glad I'm kind of infected with the bug of business.
Out of that, man, Sam. I think the hardest part for me is I grew up in business, and my family started, like a little more than half a dozen businesses before I was 18. I moved 5 times before I was 18, so change was just like super normal. Like I didn't think much of it. But now I'm like, I am just so fond of. I mean, in entrepreneurship, whether it's myself or someone else, like it just inspires me. Like that we can all kind of be like problem solvers in our own way. And I think there's kind of like there's a kind of an underlying duty in it. What we're building in Mintor is an opportunity for entrepreneurs, no matter where they are, to connect with each other, to meet new people without the BS, without the fluff, and frictionlessly put a calendar event on their calendar every single week and meet someone new. Like that's where it starts. And like we now kind of owe it. We kind of owe it to the people that said that they want to use it to give them that same experience. Yeah, man. Excuse me. Entrepreneurship is so. I also think it's like a tool for change. I mean, it is the thing that brings up communities. It is the thing. Like Okay, I'll stop for a second.
No, bring it.
Can we talk about the city? Can we talk about the city for a second? I hope that we can put together, like, yes, there's all these things we're doing for entrepreneurship. What are we doing? Like, I would be curious what we're doing at like the city, state level in terms of entrepreneurship councils of some kind. Those that they have one primary goal is how to, and I'm not talking about the SBDC. I don't know if anyone will listen to this that's from the SBDC. I'm not saying the SBDC is bad. I think it plays a role. I do not think the SBDC connects with entrepreneurs. And if you think it does, please show me an entrepreneur that's like, oh my God, they speak my language. I just don't think it does. It doesn't speak the language of actual entrepreneurs. It's very structured. Like, it's very structured in the fact that here are the steps, get a loan, do X, Y, Z. Like I don't think it's built for that purpose, right? To inspire entrepreneurship. I would love, that's where I think we could start changing who we are as a city, is leaning in on these people that have the potential to launch new businesses, and begin attracting more people to come to Baton Rouge. Why we stay here? Come for the lifestyle and stay for the community. Like come for the way that we live, the price of living. Come for LSU football. Come for the food, the football, the culture. Come for all that, and stay for what the ecosystem can do for you. And that's what I'm most excited about is for our opportunity to get there.
Well, and look, once we've got to where we are too, it's sort of it's not not an unspoken rule, but generally you want to make the path easier for those who come behind you, so we do want to maybe be a resource, a connector at times, or even a counselor, consultant, or just a friend that needs to vent, because being an entrepreneur can also be very lonely. So there's ways to cultivate that system. I think we got a good group. We just need to keep doing our thing, and hopefully we get enough credit for what we've already built. I wish it was easier, more access, and better publicized on how to break through some of these barriers. There's no cliff notes, but man,
there isn't.
A few people away from doing that.
What do you think that we recognize? So Baton Rouge Forty Under was great. I thought it was fun. But do you think we do enough to you said? I mean, to actually recognize the progress we have made? I mean, do you feel like we don't?
I think the impact of small business people in small businesses is huge, enormous, and I wish they were given more credit for the role they play in all of this, right? But we do have things that celebrate. We've got some awards and accolades. There are some groups out there that are doing it. SME is one that we talked with Dima at first, and then their business report does a good job of bringing this up and cultivating some of that. But we could do better.
We could. I would say, what are the thing is? So me and Adam talked about this, where I was asking about how I looked at new businesses started in Baton Rouge from 2008, 2018, right? Decline every single year. Right. So I think there's, and I ask myself this, I say, okay, when I put it on Startup Grind, am I doing enough to actually inspire someone to start a business? And am I being forthcoming enough to say that shit is hard? It's not easy. This is not easy at all. This is mentally draining. You have to have a partner. I have an amazing fiance who is okay with me sitting in here for the last hour or something, right? Where I've barely seen her all day, right? And there, okay. I'll ask you this. Do we need? Sometimes I think to myself, do we even need the recognition? You're a CEO. You're a CEO. You have employees.
You don't need it. To a certain point, it helps.
So a certain point, it helps. But I would ask you, as a CEO, how many times in the last 6 months has one of your employees came and been like, "Man, you're doing such a good job leading us, man. You're being such a good leader," because it's almost expected. It's expected for you to lead that growth and lead that team. And if I don't know, you see what I'm saying? It's like if we are to grow business, if that is what we're doing, I don't think we always need a pat on the back. I think we need a kick in the rear to say, "Hey, keep going." Because when we think we've made a little progress, we're also we're ways down the river. We're a ways.
No one's going to do business with me because I won an award.
Yeah, that's right.
To an extent, the way we use it, or the way I sort of look at it, look, we were talking about what social can do for you. In a way, that could be an attention getter, a conversation starter, or a way to differentiate someone who is not doing something for the community or is not winning them awards. So, but no one's going to buy from me because of that award. But to a certain extent, it's like, hey, I got this one little badge of honor. If it means something to you, like it meant something for us to earn it, let's talk about it. Aside from that, no, man, they're worried about me saving them money, time, or doing it better for their company. That's what they're worried about. But it's this small little vehicle And again, it's like that small little web that somehow along the way connected you and me into this relationship. So I'm hoping that it carries enough weight when and where it presents itself that
and I'll say this, I love the candidness. Like so you know that my opinion on everything can change like the weather. Like I straight up, like I came from an apolitical, areligious, like a like no set view kind of household, right? Whose view, you know, it's constantly changing, and you realize you have to be adaptable. But I love that we, you know, like this is the kind of candid talk that I enjoy, and I hope
most entrepreneurs need the kick in the ass. We don't need the award on the shelf. But you're right.
Yeah.
But that's why this is good that you bring this up.
Yeah.
There are both sides. There's many different sides to this. And look, you're scrappy. You're still getting this done and hustling. In a certain sense, I've got to a point where I'm in a level where I can maintain but grow organically if I want, or just bust it out this year because I got a new plant. There's this hunger that you still have that we tap into because it's raw and it's real. So people need to hear what it's like on every side, because the entrepreneurial journey is not the same for everybody, man. They need to hear where you came from, where I came from, where Dima came from, and you're hoping that just even by talking, by the candid things we're sharing, that helps someone else. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Well, what is it for you though? Because is it just about making money? Because if you could make money a whole lot of other ways.
No, you can make my amazing mother told me, and I think it's in terms of money. She goes, you can always make money. Like she, you know, it is a truth in that today, a year from now, 10 years from now, it doesn't, like when I was thinking about quitting my job, it was going to be, hey, I'm about to start making half my pay, if not less. Right. And when I, would just kind of chat with my mother about it, she goes, Kat, you can always go back and make money. Like making money is not the difficult part. And obviously it's easier to say that now, because I feel like I've learned, about money. We did not come from a household that was scared to talk about money. If anything, I was I started learning how to do the P&L sheets at my family's businesses when I was like 15, because they didn't know how to do it all, right? And no, I don't think it's not about money anymore. It's and it never was. Look, I quit my job. Like I knew that I'm on potentially a 3 to 5 year route to get to where I want to be, and get this company to where I want to be, right? Knowing it could potentially go nowhere. Like you have to know, like going in, that it could potentially go absolutely nowhere. I think it's the opportunity, it's the potential of what, like for me, it's always where I'm thinking where it could go, and that's what drives me to throw it all on the line. It's the potential of it. Look, I was in high school. My senior year of high school, I became homeschooled that year to play tennis, and not because there was a guarantee that I would go and play at a big school, or that I would reach like top 10 in the state or anything like that. It was just like the opportunity to do it is what drove me to do it. And so I became homeschooled, gave up my senior year. Wow. No, I mean, no, it's not. It can't. Look, I would say there's tons of side hustles out there you can do to make money, and you can be damn good at it. I don't know, yeah.
Well, look, we're right at our time for today's show, Kasra. We're right at that hour mark, dude. This was, I got to tell you, we covered a lot of topics. I hope you had a good show, man. I hope you enjoyed where we went with it. I thought we talked about a lot of good stuff, especially near the end. We got a little deep. Look, Dima was sorry about Dima. Dima texted me like 30 minutes ago, and we were talking, so I didn't get a chance to say it. But she did drop off. She was having some internet issues, and we all know how that is. But yeah, Kasra, thanks for being on the show, dude. This was amazing. We got a chance to talk about some stuff. I hope you had a good time.
I did. I appreciate it, Rob. I appreciate it. And then thanks for bringing me on and giving me the opportunity.
Look, I definitely gotta repay my debts. I was honored to be a guest on the Startup Grind, man. I am honored to be your friend. I got to tell you, I've got my pre-ordered copy of the book whenever that's released. I'm ready for it. I got that Askholes coming my way. And look, I'm a big fan, dude. I think I like your story. I like your style. I like what you're doing. And I've been impressed with you since I've got to know you. So I just want to say thanks for being a friend. And dude, I hope you had a good time tonight. Please stay safe.
I will. I will.
Man. And get back to your fiance.
I will. Hey, thanks for doing what you do, and I appreciate it. The time together, and I appreciate your friendship as well, Rob.
Absolutely,
appreciate you,
brother. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for being on the show. Take it easy.
Thank
That's
you.
it, everybody. That's our show for tonight. We want you to suggest a guest. If you have someone amazing like Kasra, by all means, look, tag them, post them in the comments. We want to connect. We would love to hear a great speaker, community leader, or someone with a story to tell to be on our show and be someone that you would like to watch. So thank you for watching, everybody. Stay safe. Everyone be safe and try to bundle up. Thanks for watching.